Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 3, and today I'm going to be giving you part 22 of What If Naruto Had the Rinne-Tenseigan. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Had the Rarest Bloodline over on Anime King 2, and enjoy that guys. And also, I posted a brand new episode over on Anime King of What If Naruto was personally trained by Kurama after leaving the village. So go ahead and check out that and enjoy guys. And if you're new, I have 3 channels: Anime King 2, and Anime King 3, which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. And yeah, without further ado, we just begin this new episode. Start the intro. So, the last time we left off, Danzo broke out of the secret compartment, out of the hatch, as he entered back onto the main streets of Konoha, only to arrive to chaos. He had heard the explosions while he was downstairs in the root basement. He had heard everything and now it all made sense, as Konoha was in ruins. The monument with the Hokage faces were completely obliterated. The tower had been blown to smithereens, as Danzo watched his home that he fought, sweat, and bled for in nothing but shambles. The man was angry, the man was furious. But at the moment there was absolutely nothing he can do, as he was grabbed roughly before he was slammed repeatedly into the wall. As Naruto tossed the man, as Sasuke moved, Danzo's head was severed from his neck. The last thing he saw was his home burning, and that was the last thing he would ever see, as he died, leaving this realm. As the dragon then came down from the sky and curled around Naruto and Sasuke. As the both of them stood in the middle, the Konoha forces came and launched jutsus after jutsus, but the dragon tough scales batted them away. The dragon roared, blowing them back as Natty, Jiraiya, everyone stepped forward. The Aburame clan and the Nara clan. The Aburame clan used their bugs. The Nara clan used their shadows to trap the dragon's shadow, making it unable to move as Naruto was standing right on the thing's head, with Kushina and Minato right beside him. Snady was furious. As she was about to attack him, he spoke, as he wanted everyone to remember all of the Konoha citizens hiding in fear right now. He wanted them to know that he will be coming for them, and there's nothing they can do. Doesn't matter if they run or hide, he will be coming back to make all of them pay. With that, everyone attack. As Naruto extended his hands, a burst. His eyes trembled as he released a force that knocked everyone away. The dragon then took flight. It didn't take long as news spread around the elemental nation about Minato Namikaze return and what he did to Konoha. He wreaked havoc over the entire place. Unki, the man that has fought in the last Shinobi's war. The man was scared, yes. The last time Minato came up against his army, he slaughtered all of them single-handedly in a couple of minutes. And now it seems that the man has gotten stronger. He had no idea how he was back, or how he was even stronger, or what was going on. But if the man tried to attack, he would send everything he had. Person would make his way out there to send him back to the grave. As Pain was discussing with Obito about the current circumstances, Obito faked ignorance like he didn't know about Naruto. After all, telling Nagato about Naruto right now wouldn't be the wisest thing. Itachi was also wondering about his brother, as he heard that Sasuke was also nearby him. From the first time that Itachi saw Naruto, he felt odd vibes about him. When he had stopped Sasuke so quickly, it was like he was basically controlling him. When he told him to calm down, and Sasuke's rage just quell. Back at the sand, Gar will have to intervene if Naruto was gonna pose a threat against the hidden village of the Leaf, but his mind wondered if they deserved it. Gar shook his head as he wondered what the hell he was thinking about. Ignorant people. They were ignorant people in the sun as well, as it was just like back then when he was younger, but still, they did not deserve to die. At Kirin, as everyone knew Naruto there, all of the council members, they even spoke to him, elders called him Naruto-sama, as Naruto had helped them in the war. As it was time that they started to open up Kirin. After all, the preparation has been made, and what they were going for. After all, Kirin has the technology, they had the power. So what is next? World domination. As Naruto had introduced Sasuke to Kirin, and Sasuke seemed to not care about that at the moment as he only wanted to kill Itachi. A part of him wondered why though. He had already got revenge on Danzo, and Naruto had killed the other two elders, but he was just so angry, and Naruto had told him that Itachi need to die. So he was gonna kill him. As we had go into a flashback of Kirin when she was younger, when Naruto rescued her. From then, she has been working for Naruto the entire time. And he was like a bigger brother to her. She was one of the few that knew everything. That knew about Minato and Kushina. Yes, there was only a few of them. So yeah guys, so basically as we left off, you guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself. So this will begin this new episode. We begin this episode the last spot we left off, where Naruto had been thinking about his parents and how he had brought them back. Where Minato and Kushina had woken up and saw him for the first time. As the both of them were shocked. Naruto? Said Kushina, as she looked at the 9-year-old boy in front of her. He said nothing, but she saw the whisker marks, the eyes, the hair, and it snapped into her head this was her son. What's going on? Said Minato. Kushina turned her head. Minato? Kushina? As she reached forward her hand, shaking, she touched his face to make sure he was really there. You're alive? Wait, I'm alive, she said. As she looked back at Naruto. Naruto-kun, it is you, isn't it? Yes, Naruto said. Minato tried to get up, but his legs wouldn't allow him as they wobbled and he fell back down. Your bodies are still getting used to the new power flux. It will need time to fully arrange itself, said Naruto. Power flux? What's going on? Said Minato. Well, if you need to know, I brought the both of you back to life. Kushina didn't care how tired her body felt as she launched forward and enveloped her son into a tight hug. She didn't have to walk the launch. As she grabbed her baby boy, tears leaking from her eyes, she could hug Minato later, right now. She could hug her baby boy. To her, it was like a second. Time had barely passed as she was gone and now she was back. Once one was raised from the afterlife, they did not remember the afterlife. So she did not remember any of that. The only thing she remembered was seeing him as a baby. But now he was here, as she held on to him tight. Minato on the other hand saw something was wrong. Naruto's entire posture, the way he spoke, the way he talked, something was up. And to be able to revive them from the dead, just what kind of power could do that? Was Naruto using some forbidden jutsu? Being a Hokage, his mind went towards the clinical fact before jumping towards anything. How did you brought us back to life? What did it cause? Not much. But I expect if I don't find an antidote, I'll be dead in a couple of years or so. What? Said Kushina as she broke away. It's fine. I will get better. I'll need the both of your help on that. Wait, what's going on? Said Kushina. First thing first. I am not yet a Leaf Shinobi. I have not yet passed the academy. And I'm also planning on destroying Konoha. The both of them froze. Kushina gestured back. You're joking, right? Minato knew that something was off. What are you talking about? They put me through hell, so I want them to suffer. The both of you know what it means like to be a Jinchuriki. Father, you know because. Mother was one, so you know. The things that people went through despite her being your wife. It wasn't that bad on her. But you lived for a long time, despite dying at a young age, to see the world what it's truly made of. The people that despise Jinchurikis. And mother, you know this firsthand, said Naruto. I know that, Naruto-kun, but it doesn't matter what either of you say. You won't change my mind. Naruto, I can't let you do that, said Minato. Before you say or come to any conclusion, let me show you something, said Naruto. As they were talking to him, they weren't paying attention to his eyes fully, but every glance they took, it was like something was connecting to them for some strange reason. He held out his hand as a mirror came up, a mirror made from ice. Watch. It was a video, 2 minutes in total. As Kushina was in tears when it was over, it was of our 4-year-old boy getting beaten, being broke. It was then that Naruto's voice started gaining emotion in it. After all of that, would you really side against me for those people who put me through hell? Naruto, I knew it must have been no! You don't understand how hard it have been, said Naruto as he looked towards Minato. They torture me. They beat me, they stomp on me, they stab me for something I could not control, for something I was doing to keep them all safe. And you're really here telling me that you're gonna side with them? Father, are you really gonna side with those people who hurt your only child? Who threw your sacrifice like it was nothing? Who put me through hell? What about you, mother? Said Naruto. Are you really gonna let this happen? Kushina didn't know why, but her mind started to drift from Konoha. It happened just for a second, but she shook off those thoughts. She knew it was hard being a Jinchuriki, but what did he put her son through? Minato remained silent, as he couldn't believe it. The man clenched his fist after everything. And those people chose to do his son like this. Perhaps they deserve... He shook his head. What was he thinking? He was a Hokage, he was. He was supposed to be protecting a leaf, but he did. As he looked at his hand, he had died. And he came back to life because of his son, who had been put through literal hell, who had suffered, who had been torn apart, breaking down, because of those people who hurt him in so many ways. And yet, where was Jiraiya? Even Tsunade, Orochimaru, Sarutobi? The old man. When I was younger I never knew him, said Naruto. Only recently as he came to my aid. Not even to help me, but just to speak. Whenever I asked him why they torture me, he'd tell me that is the way people are. I was raised in an orphanage where I barely ate. The expired milk, the expired food, that is what they serve me. Most times I lie in my small bed in the corner while the others get full-fledged bed. Mine was already broken down. I had to use stones to prop it up. I always get sick, catch a cold, but I had no blankets. The water was always freezing cold, not like the others who got warm water most of the time. They didn't allow me to eat with the others. I was to stay by myself with my spoiled food in the corner. The only light, the only ray of sunshine was when the Hokage came by to give me ramen. But other than that, nothing more. They kicked me out when I was 4. They said I was too old despite children being there being 6 and 7. They just didn't want to see me. You're telling me after all of that, you two are gonna side with them, said Naruto. As Kushina saw tears start to leak. Her son was crying. She couldn't help it as she grabbed him and pulled him into a tight hug. You're alright now, Naruto-kun, she said. I'll protect you. I won't let anyone hurt you again. As she held him on close. Kushina could not see his face, neither could Minato, as she was holding on to him. But that sappy emotion just completely wiped away, returned back to his steely face until she broke apart, as he wiped away his tears slowly. Minato went silent. Minato, she said as she looked towards him. What have they done? End of flashback. As Naruto was currently sitting down, his eyes looking at nothing in particular, just staring over the vast ocean as he was on top of a mountainside. Everything was working towards his plan. Everything was going smoothly. Teiwaya was right when she said that people can't really comprehend Naruto because he was different. That is because he is. Naruto sometimes don't make any sense. The thing that he did. The reason why he did it. At the moment he had plans that were set up so long ago, but they were just forming. After all, there was a reason why Minato and Kushina were so hateful towards Konoha. After all, being Hokage, you were supposed to risk your life for the village and do anything for it. But yet Minato were killing and slaughtering people without even battering an eye from his own village. It was strange. As Naruto smiled to himself, as someone landed behind him, he turned to look at the Kira ninja. As the man bowed, as he came to deliver a message, that was another thing. The Kira ninjas. Flashback, chaos, destruction. It happened so quickly and so fast. They never stood a chance. Mei Tarumi and her army had been slaughtered. None of them expected Yagura to join the forces so quickly. Him and his elite envoys slaughtered her army. A whole lot of them. The remaining ones that were on the ground, they were either wounded or captured by Yagura forces to be publicly executed to show how wrathful Yagura was. At the moment, me and the current council members were completely helpless. The envoys had run into the city, run into the underground city that they had stayed in for so long, planned their rebellion, and wiped out all the guards. Mei was heavily wounded, a deep gash in her side. She was bleeding badly. The council members, they weren't out fighting. They were old, most of them, in their late 40s to 50s. They had been made up of the council, not a shinobi part. They had guided the village under Yagura's say, but they never came to combat before. So that is why it was hard on them to know that they were going to die right here after everything they'd been through with the village. All of them saw the bloodline users as asset. They saw the bloodline users as a way of making the village strong so that Kiri will never fall. And when Yagura started to slaughter all of them came towards Mei's side. As she was a rebellion of this little faction, Ayo was in front of her. As the man had clutched onto his blade, several wounds lined his body. "I will protect you, Mei-sama," he said. "Flee." As Mei picked herself up, holding onto her wounded side, the members behind her, the remaining ones, all of them, had severe cuts and scrapes all over their body. The other ones were unconscious. As they heard the explosions outside, Yagura and his army were making their way. "I guess this is our last stand," one of them said. Suddenly, the wall to the opposite of them exploded. Everyone had to shield their faces. Dust and debris flying inside, swallowing the entire area in a thick cloud of mist from the explosion from the wall. As Mei turned her head, her foot then started to shake. Losing too much blood had get into her as she started to fall, only to be caught by a strong pair of arms. She looked up into the eyes, the blue eyes, and silvery hair that was looking at her. He was wearing a lower mask, so you could not see the lower part of his face. This was none other than Minato. His eyes were on full display though. His eyes were like a warm ocean as he stood there. "Are you okay?" he said. Mei simply nodded. The first thought that came to her mind was that he was so handsome. I think that's enough," said the voice. As Minato carefully set her down, as Kushina came in behind him. "Who are you?" said Ayo. "Reinforcement," said the voice. Ayo blinked. As he slowly turned his head, he did not even see him enter. It was none other than a boy. Yes, he was a simple child. Ayo was confused. "Reinforcements? Who sent you?" As a member started to mumble behind them. Suddenly, the wall in front of Naruto exploded. He waved his hand as all debris was sent blasted away. As footsteps could be heard, Yagura stepped inside. All of the person outside had been subdued and captured. As Yagura did not make an effort to kill them, he was going to execute all of them publicly to show that he will not have any tolerance for any bloodline users. The man stepped in as he looked at me on the ground. "I told you that this would happen. Your little rebellion would not last. You were just wasting your time and your people's life. Well, my people, that you falsely believe that they are important just because they have a bloodline." Mei spat harshly. "You won't win," she said. "Oh, and who's gonna stop me?" said Yagura. He simply sighed. "Told you this was a waste of time." But yet you still decide to fight me. Still, all of you here, including you council members, will all be put to death publicly. To make you all understand once and for all, there is no hope. Oh, I wouldn't say that. Yagura turned his eyes. A child. He glanced over at Naruto as he then focused under the eyes that were on full display. Seems like you have some sort of bloodline as well. Well, it doesn't matter. All of you will die anyway. Yagura leaped out of the way as a chain impaled the wall where he was standing. Watch your mouth, said Kushina, as the chain had nearly torn him to pieces. Yagura blinked, looking at the chain, ominously glowing. It was silver. As he focused on Kushina, Ayo was surprised. Seems like these reinforcements can actually... Suddenly the room was swamped with envoy from Yagura. Take them all, Yagura said, wasting no time. The boy simply stepped forward as Ayo, me, all of them watched him. Stop. All of them came to a stop. But it wasn't because he told them to stop. It was because of the crushing force that slammed on their shoulders. All of them were forced down to their knees, their bones creaking as they tried to move. Yagura moved as he brought his staff forward to take this brat out, whoever he was, as he seemed to be a threat. As Yagura had had enough. Recently, they had been raiding a couple of his bases, destroying many important supply routes. Tried to force him out so finally he was out, and now they were getting what they deserved, and they were really afraid to fight. They were even running. But it didn't matter, he was going to let any of them leave. Yagura swung his hook staff to take Naruto's head right off. But to his surprise, Naruto simply grabbed it. As Yagura felt no chakra when he swung it, none at all. It was like the boy had sapped the chakra that he pushed into his staff. With enough force, Yagura was going to take Naruto's head clean off, but the chakra was sucked out. The remaining forces were grind down into the earth, forced on their knees started to burst as blood started to spray from it as it was being pushed deeply into the concrete. Yagura pulled back his staff harshly as Naruto released it. The man went through hand sign before inhaling. Water gathered up in his lungs as he fired several water bullets towards Naruto, who simply raised one hand. They were stopped. Naruto flicked his wrist as they were sent back towards Yagura, who leaped, but the space was too confined as one of them slammed him right in his shoulder, sending him bursting through the wall. Naruto then turned towards his father as Minato moved forward as he knocked all of the envoys unconscious. Yes, he did not kill them. Who are you people, said Ayo. Your savior, said Naruto. And thus the rebellion ended. Yes, it ended a long time ago, but the borders of the village were still locked, and rumors were that the rebellion was still going on, but that was all a lie concocted by Naruto to make people think that Kira was still in a weakened state. The borders were shut down and they were warring. No one attacked, everyone just left it be. But throughout that time, Naruto had went and brought Karen towards Kira. Karen had been in a facility with some very pristine researchers. People from the Hidden Snow that had worked for Naruto. Yes, it was rather strange for high-class people that were getting paid a lot of money to create new inventions to just up and leave the Hidden Snow and come to work for Naruto. Well, things that he could do had made them see a better way. So those people and Karen working together because the girl was quite interested in technology and research. She was interested in anything when it comes to theories. So Naruto got her the people that she needed. And when it came to money, well, Danzo has been tracking this unknown source from the Elemental Nation that has been buying into all the vast companies and having a large sheer amount in them. But he couldn't find out who exactly it was. But corporations were being built all over the Elemental Nation. A new way of solar energy. Yes, but no one could exactly find out who was the mastermind behind all of this. Yes, no one had any idea. Later did they all know it was none other than Naruto. While he was at Konoha, the only reason why he was mostly there was to get Sasuke and also to put a few things in his favor that you will see in the future. But other than that, Minato has been controlling everything along with Kushina. It was good to keep Minato's identity a secret. If anyone had fled from the attack at Kiri, they would have kept their mouth shut. But when it came to Naruto, it was rather different. None of them remember him. They knew that someone had saved them, and they knew that Minato was working with that person, but they could not remember his identity. Only time they remember everything when they saw him, his eyes connecting with theirs. The moment he had stepped foot, it was like his aura had just snapped their memories back into place. It was rather strange. But the people, they had confided in him. They had trusted him with everything because he saved them from their death. The council members had all the sway. The water daimyo had been killed by Yagra. As the man wanted to stop Yagra from killing off all the bloodlines, Yagra didn't like that, so he slaughtered the man. So the council members all the say. And little did they know it, they vote in Naruto to be the next Mizukage. Seeing that Minato was older, they wanted to give him the position. But he declined it, saying that his son should rule. As he had the plan, he had the better mindset for this. Despite Minato being a Hokage once, he believed that Naruto had the better mindset for this. And not to mention how much he failed his son in the past. He was trying to make it up for him, despite Naruto telling him countless times that he forgave them for what happened. He still wanted to make sure that his son was comfortable with everything. Kushina was just beyond happy that she got her son back. It didn't matter who she had to kill to make suffer for what they did to her baby boy. But she was just happy that she had her family back, and everything was just perfect. And soon enough, there will be no one left to cause them any pain in the war when Naruto conquered the world, as she saw that as the right thing to do. In the flashback, as Naruto picked himself up, as he heard the message from the scout that had came to him, he simply vanished, gone without a trace. Back at Konoha, Jiraiya was in the office along with Snappy. Several meetings had already been take place with the clan heads, and the ones that remain, the heads, the council of the civilian council. She had to reassure them that they will find a way to stop Naruto. There had been many prayers coming from Konoha, the people that had hurt Naruto in certain ways. Now, they were begging for forgiveness from whatever deity that might hear them, praying for a solution, praying to find a way so they won't be slaughtered. But it seems that that won't help them at all. Well, he hasn't attacked yet, so at least now they could be reassured that they were fine. And the Hokage, she has everything handled, right? Jiraiya was looking over the documents. The only thing that Jiraiya could do to keep his mind afloat was focus on Naruto right now, the enemy. Because he couldn't think about Minato, the Hokage, the person that he'd come to see as a son, even wanting to kill him and destroy the village. That was just unthinkable. He kept his mind off that. So what he was focused on now was a report that he found down in the Roots barracks. It seems that Donzo has been going off someone. Someone who has been investing in a lot of company lately. Masking quite a wealth. See the money trail right here. But Donzo couldn't find the exact source. As he shows snatted paper. Why is this important? Well, you never know, said Jiraiya. Perhaps this has something to do with Naruto. Or Minato. I don't see any way how they fit in this, said Snappy. But take a look at it if you can. She sighed as she leaned back in her chair. We don't know where they are or what they're doing right now. It can be said for certain that the entire Elemental Nation know that Minato is back and that Naruto is alive. The Akatsuki probably know as well. I am certain that you're going to go after him for what he possessed after all your research over the couple of years. But still, I don't even know if he's working for them. Why would he? He must know that you're after him. And if they get him, they're going to take the Nine Tails away from him. I'm not even certain if he has it anymore, said Snappy. What do you mean? Well, think about it. Have you ever saw him use the Fox Chakra? Not now, but when he was younger. Those eyes of his that he has been kept covered for so long. They are powerful. Beyond powerful. As you said, one of them is Rinnegan. One of them. You told me yourself that it's mixed with something else. Can you be certain of that? Yes, Jiraiya said. I've saw the Rinnegan before. And it's nothing like that. The color. The way it is set, it's like a different eye entirely mixed with the Rinnegan. So I don't understand what exactly is going on. Perhaps he found a way to evolve it. Not to mention what we found in Danzo's base. Wooden vines. Naruto was able to use Mokidan. How did he even... Snap aside. I don't even think the person I met in Tenseigan. I don't even think I understand who that person is. It was just a game to play us. This entire time, acting so calm. He knew everything, said Jiraiya. He knew about the death of the Toad Sage. He sent Minato to kill the Toad Sage because we were getting too close. Refresh my mind what the Toad Sage told you. Well, he told me that he never had another vision so quickly before. But he told me about the God of Death. Two of them, near one another. Mass destruction, chaos. Souls reaping. I was confused at first because the God of Death, that is what he does. But he told me that this is a human spectral. Something that wasn't supposed to happen. Destroying the laws, the nature itself. So, I don't know what they're planning, but it's something dangerous. Minato killed the Toad Sage because he knew that he's hiding something. And if the Toad Sage had completely found out what it was, if it wasn't just a vast vision, we would have known, but he killed him. And Kushina, said Jiraiya, she was always brash and angry, but to go this far to kill Konoha people, even after everything that she went through, as the Jinchuriki holder, she never snapped like this before. So I don't understand how this is happening. If this is even them. They spoke. You could clearly see it wasn't a puppet or something. Naruto is strong, but could he really fool our eyes to make us think that Kushina and Minato are alive? Jiraiya sighed. I still don't even know what ability Minato is using. To be able to teleport from one place to another, it's certainly not the Harashin. It's like he is one place and then the other place. But what I know for certain now, he's not able to fight while in that state. He can move around like a ghost, but that is all he can do. Fighting is a complete different matter. I saw it firsthand. When he switched back into his fighting form, he no longer moves around like a ghost. But he can clearly sneak up on you and switch and kill you before you even notice. So that's something we'll have to worry about when we interact with them again. Jiraiya, said Snazzy. They're coming in for the kill. So we can't afford to hold back. We have to stop them. You clench your fist tight. Even if it means putting them down, we can't hold back a single second. We don't even know what the boy is capable of. He's hell-bent on destroying Konoha, and we can't learn to do that. So, I need you to suppress your emotion as best as you can. Because I'm gonna do the same thing. And I'm gonna do what is right for Konoha. Can you do that, she said. Yes, said Jiraiya. His tone was flat. Spoke without much emotion. I'll do what is best for Konoha, he said. Meanwhile, Kiba had a broken nose. Given everything that happened lately, Kiba was stressed out, as he couldn't believe that Naruto was back and he was now evil. He remembered what Naruto had said to him a long time ago in Chunin exams. What would have happened if he killed Akamaru? That had freaked Kiba out by the way he said it. And now to realize that Naruto was evil. Still, Kiba let his hormones get the better of him. Usually, in these situations, whenever she was stressed out, she would call him. And the both of them would, you know. So he thought he would take the initiative and he would go over there and to relieve some of his stress and might relieve some of her stress as well. But he came at a rather bad time. She didn't want any of that. She was angry. A thought that came to his mind, know that Sasuke was back. All of this would be over. But he reassured himself that perhaps things would continue. Perhaps he was hoping, he was praying. But she lashed out at him when he told her that he was here for her. And when he kept on persisting, she attacked him and she broke his goddamn nose. She told him to get the hell out, and that is what he did. So right now he was furious with a broken nose. And he was just walking the streets, not really knowing where to go. Seems like that little chapter where the both of them had a thing going on was over. Well, what did he expect? As he looked around at Konoha that was destroyed, nothing but chaos and destruction all around. Could he really blame her? No, he could not. But right now he felt like crap. Well, Sakura felt worse. She hated herself. She was angry. She had cried She had cursed the heavens for years, thinking that the both of them were dead. And now they were back, and now they were enemy. Naruto had blown up the entire tower with her inside. He didn't even care about her safety. She could have died. That meant he didn't care one bit. And Sasuke didn't even look her way, showing that none of them cared. They were really the enemy. But yet this tiny part of her was trying to fight for their team, despite knowing that it can never be what it once was. So the girl felt broken, as she really didn't know what to do, as she just lay in her bed, not moving, as she just stared at the ceiling. She has been doing this for a couple minutes now, and she was going to continue doing it. She hadn't even eaten yet. She just felt so out of touch with everything. She hadn't even go to check if her parents were okay. What the hell was wrong with her? She was just here sitting down, lying down that is, as she just couldn't move or do anything at the moment. Time skip, please, don't hurt my daughter. Please don't. A man, dressed in a brown cloak that went straight down towards his back. He had on a white shirt underneath, dark pants, with dark sandals. His hair was slicked back. It was grey. The man was in his late 50s. He was a leader. The leader of a land of bears. The land of bears was a rather large economy. It wasn't a village, but it was a large village. They mostly dealt with agriculture. They dealt with farming. Yes, their land was greatly known for producing to all of the elemental nation. Yes, they weren't allied with any one nation, but they weren't the only nations that sent fruits, crops, vegetables all over. But they were one of them. At the moment, Lord Raza was on his knees as he watched the kuna at his daughter's throat. His only daughter, his wife that died when she was younger, and he raised her. His village was completely under siege. It happened so quickly. They came in so fast. They move about. Anyone that got in their way, they cut down or knocked down. And no one could stop them. The land of bears had ninjas. Nothing too fancy, but they had ninjas. But for a group of people to completely disarm his entire ninja forces and take them out like they were nothing, that was just beyond him. Raza was on his knees begging the ninja in front of him, but the man was not reacting. The only thing he saw was the man cold brown eyes. His entire face was cloaked. He was wearing a black ski mask. Only his eyes were visible. His mouth was not there as well. The lower part of his ski mask seemed to be metal, as his brown eyes looked towards Raza on the ground. For one thing, Raza loved his daughter more than anything else. His daughter, bright, blue hair like her mother, dark eyes, as a woman, was 21 years old. She was pregnant to make it worse. Her fiancé was outside on the ground. Luckily, he was unconscious, not killed. As she looked down towards her stomach, if anything, she was hoping that her child got spared. But with the way things were set up now, it wouldn't be a hope. It would be a plain chance to a deity, a god out there. Suddenly, the door opened wide by another masked ninja. From what Raza could see, it was probably only 8 or 10 of them. But someone stepped inside, as he was wearing simple clothing. He was wearing arm bracers, silver ones, a grey shirt that had a tinge of white in it, with strip cross going across. It came down so you could see his chest, but not completely. Black pants, and black boots as well. Other than that, he was wearing nothing else, no headband, no insignia from any village. Though, his blonde hair and his strange blue eyes that had ripple in them just seemed to shine with power. Your daughter would be spared, and your entire village. Once you bow down and pledge your allegiance to me. Who are you? My name is Naruto Uzumaki. You are one of the few first villages to be taken over. Everything will be spared here, Raza. I really hope you don't take the chance of trying to fight against me. I assume you heard about the Line of Wolf. Raza's eyes went wide. He thought that was just a rumor. There was a small village known as Land of Wolf. This place had some special material. Yes, obsidian metal. The thing was hard to craft. Very, very hard. You need a special male tailor to do it. A really, really special one. Really hard to craft. Yes, it was. That is why. The members there were unique in crafting it. That is why people never really attacked them, because even if you got the material, you wouldn't know how to do it. But from what he heard, which he thought was a rumor, because he hadn't sent his people to investigate, the place was wiped off the map. The only thing that remained was the barren grounds. The village was gone. But no one had known what happened. You did that? Yes. And if you don't want your village to fall as well, I suggest you accept my proposal. Don't worry. Your village would not be destroyed, Reza. It is just going to be falling under a new leadership. As Naruto tossed something towards the man, it fell towards his feet. It was a scroll. I assure you, these terms are fair. Reza clenched his fists. How could something be fair that he didn't want? He was sure that whatever this man wanted, it was going to cost his village. But yet if he did not, he and his people would surely die. I'm waiting, said Naruto. Reza released a sigh. Fine. Just don't hurt them. I will accept your terms, whatever they are. Good. Naruto waved his hand as the ninjas pulled back. I assure that we work well together in the future, Reza, said Naruto with a smile. Reza was not tricked, despite how sincere that smile looked. It felt like he had just signed his soul away to the devil. Little by little, the smaller nations start to get conquered. All of them, under one name, Kiri. Yes, it wasn't made public yet. But everyone knew the change. Everyone feel the change. There was just something happening. Borders had been closed off. Time after time, borders were going closed, then reopening after a while, after everything was set. Meanwhile, at Kumo, the Raikage was looking over a file. And you say it's no longer there, he says. He looked towards Mabe. Yes, that's the information I received, she said. The Raikage was confused. The Land of Wolf, they had this pact with them. Not anything too airtight, but every now and then they make weapons for them. Their steel was strong. Beyond strong, it was almost impenetrable. Obsidian steel. And that is where they got it from. But now the place was just gone. Completely wiped off the map. But I am unaware of any civil war going on at the moment, or any rootful attack like this. I just spoke to the leader a couple weeks ago. Whatever this is, it must have happened recent. Yes, and all the coal mines with the obsidian, they're gone. The Raikage clenched his fists. So whoever this person is, they took it. Everything. What about Konoha? They're still on lockdown, it seems. Preparing, it seems, for a war. Still can't believe the fourth Hokage came back and did that to his own village. For his son, nevertheless, who had been suffered just because he was a Jinchuriki. Has the scout spotted anything, Mabe? No, my lord, she said. Everything has been clear. No one has been seen coming towards the mountainside. That's good. It seems that the fourth Hokage had gone mental some time ago. I still don't know how he has been brought back to the land of living. Or perhaps it was just a scandal. Perhaps he never died. Perhaps he faked his own death to do this. But if they try anything against Aiden and Cloud, they should be sure that we would respond in not kind, he said. Mabe simply nodded as she left. The Raikage still didn't know what the hell was going on, but he would have his man investigate the Land of Wolves, as that was a valuable thing that was just flushed down the drain by whoever he did not even know. Time skip. It was now night time. As Naruto stepped inside and wiped his face, as he released a sigh. You're late. As Teiwai was sitting on the edge of the bed, as she was combing her long, beautiful red hair. Sorry, said Naruto. I guess the old man was right when he said that paperwork were rather stressful. You're not even the fully fledged Kage yet and you're already in stress. How would you be when you're fully the Kage, she said. Don't worry. I have a lot of people to help me with that, said Naruto. But it's just a few things that I have to sort out personally. Don't worry, I already know, she said. As she picked herself up and placed down the brush before yanking him over to the bed. You kept me waiting for so long. As she planted her lips against his. As he smiled. Well, at least if anyone else, you can snap me back in the spirit. Well, of course I can, she said. As she kissed him vigorously. He simply kissed her back as well. So how is everything going with you, said Naruto, as they break apart. Well, your mom has been nice from day one. It just seemed like she's getting more nicer and nicer. Not to mention with the new addition, she said. Yeah, said Naruto. What? Don't tell me you're jealous, said Teiwa. Of course not, said Naruto. As he simply smiled. I'm happy, if you should know. What about us, he said. What about us? As she looked down. Not ready for something like that. Maybe after everything is over, she said to him. I was thinking the exact same thing. What about your friend Sasuke, she said. She placed her head on his chest, listening to his heartbeat. It was always so soothing and calm. He's still getting on edge. He hasn't calmed down. Well, the tail beasts had been gathering one by one. I believe that it's time that he finally get to face his brother. There's nothing stopping it now. The Cascades gather enough tail beasts for a few of their members less note. The others can handle it. It's time that Pain stretched his feet as well. The dying god, she said. As Naruto laughed a bit. What's so funny? It's just funny how he keep on referring to himself as God. Now you're doing the same thing. He knows about you, said Teiwa. That he does, said Naruto. He will be coming for you. That he will be, said Naruto. And you're gonna crush him, she said. That I will do, said Naruto. As she kissed him once again. Well, let's have some fun, she said. Before they could start up anything, a crying could be heard. A baby crying. As Naruto sighed, look, this is nice and all that you made them move into this house, but there's a lot, there's a lot. I know your mom want to stay close to you and make up for past time of not being there, but come on. We need to have some alone time for ourselves. As Naruto looked towards her, what? I'm not gonna tell her that. She's too nice. And she kind of scares me, said Teiwa. As Naruto laughed at that. He picked himself out of bed. As he made his way into the hall, Teiwa following behind him. As they made their way towards the living room. It was a rather big house with 5 bedrooms. Sasuke was sleeping in one of them. Karen was sleeping in the other one. And Kushina and Minato had their own bedroom. And Teiwa and Naruto had their own bedroom. And the other bedroom was for someone else. But Kushina preferred that person sleep with them. As Naruto made his way to the hall to see Minato. Shh, said Minato, it's alright. As he had a babe in his arm that was wrapped up in a bundle. I guess she's gonna cry the entire night, Dad, said Naruto. Naruto, said Minato as he turned towards his son. Can you help me out here, he said. Naruto made his way over. I have no idea how you're so clumsy with these things, said Naruto, as he took the baby away from Minato. As Naruto started to wrap the baby from left to right. Where's mom? She was tired, so I told her I would watch over everything. As the baby stopped crying, sometimes I think she loves you more than me. Well, I am her big brother. Isn't that right? Katsume-chan, said Naruto, as he poked the baby's nose. The little girl, red hair like her mother, started to giggle. As Naruto smiled down towards his little sister, Katsumi. Flashback. As Naruto stood in front of his parents, they had came to the terms of them getting revenge on Konoha for what they did to his son. Yes, for what Konoha did to their son. They were angry at the village. Everyone now whole at the village. They understand that this world is too filled with death and corruption. In order to change it, some people have to die. Even innocent will have to die, but still, they will have to change the world no matter what. Yes, they have to. As Naruto blinked, you're pregnant? As Kushina nodded. As Naruto looked towards his father, who simply scratched the back of his head, as he gave a nervous laugh, just like Naruto do sometimes. It seems you two couldn't keep your hands off each other. Naruto-kun, Kushina said, as Naruto simply laughed. What? I'm happy, said Naruto. I'm gonna have a little brother or sister, he said, as he made his way forward, as he poked Kushina's belly as she giggled. And they're in there right now, he said, that smile. She hugged her son. Yes, you're gonna be a bigger brother, she said, as Minato smiled where he was. It had only been a couple of months, and now she was pregnant. Well, this won't throw away the plan anyhow, but still. It made him happy to know that he was gonna be a big brother. In the flashback. And that is how little Katsumi came in the picture, after all. Minato has been going around as Void for the longest time. While Kushina was pregnant, that is why she wasn't showing her face or coming as a disguise. Because of the entire time she was at Kiri, she was pregnant. She was with Karen there. And Karen had taken the little girl as her little sister. After all, she already saw Naruto as a brother. So it just made it so perfect. But the baby seemed to love Naruto more than it loved his own father. Seeing that Naruto would get the baby to stop crying quickly. Kushina could do it too, but Minato seemed to have a bad sense with all of this. Well, he never actually raised a child before, but still. He loved the both of them equally. And he was going to protect them no matter what. No matter what this world threw at him. Time skip. The next morning, Sasuke was strapped and ready. All of his gears. His Sharingan scanned over his entire body. Yes, he was ready. It was finally time. A part of Sasuke, that part had been completely cleaned away. Thought that Itachi still deserved to survive after what he did. Once he learned the truth, his mind was trying to realize why did he need to kill Itachi, but still. Naruto told him one thing, that Itachi deserved it for what he did. That just seemed to snap Sasuke into it, as his mind had been more determined. Yes, Itachi deserved death for what he did. Sasuke felt the ear current shift as Naruto appeared beside him. So, you ready? I've been ready for a long time now. Alright then, Sasuke. Let's move out, said Naruto. But guys, be in subs right here. If you want the next part to do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on the bell notifications to stay posted. Remember, share to all of your friends in social media platform. And remember guys, I have 3 channels. Anime King, Anime King 2, Anime King 3, which I post what if on every single day. So if you're new, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking back to all of you. So I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace.